Hello everyone, and today I'm going to be quickly going over the Chinese Digimon manhwa, which is called Digimon Legendary Skies, and this was a planned sequel to Digimon Frontier, but ended up being rewritten and ultimately discontinued after just only a few chapters due to copyright issues. It ran from May to November 2004 in the magazine Go-Go Top. So just a quick disclaimer is that I do not know a lick of Chinese, so apologies for any mispronunciations on any of the characters or any of the Digimon. However, most of them do have translated names, and basically all the information is sourced from Wikimon, as all the information's there. And I have not read this manga or manhwa because as I said, I don't know. I think it's in Mandarin, but also this is how little I know about either Chinese language. I don't know any Cantonese or Mandarin. I don't know the difference between the two, and I know that there are other dialects too, and I don't know any of them. So take that as a word of warning that I will probably not be pronouncing. I'm not even going to be able to pronounce the word pronounce. So strap yourselves in for me not being able to pronounce words. But anyway, so the story is that it starts off with Nuwa and Fuchi, who are creators of the Chinese digital world. And these are actual real legends in Chinese mythology, and there are basically a husband and wife god team which are credited with the creation of humanity. So in Digimon Legendary Skies, they also created the Chinese version of the digital world. So the story goes that the digital virus takes over a forest where this digital world is accessed, and Nuwa and 28 star gods, which are Digimon that are based on the 28 Chinese constellations, protect the digital world, but are taken over by this virus. So we have Nuwa, and then those 28 star gods become evil, basically. And they were protecting the digital world beforehand. The main character of this manhwa is a boy named Yu, and he finds a baby Digimon and follows it into the woods. Then we have some kids based on Takuya, Koji, and Izumi from Digimon Frontier, and they're visiting China from Japan, basically in search of the Chinese digital world. And they also follow this baby Digimon into the forest. Yu then appears with a Pandamon, who is different from the Pandamon that we know and love, is kind of like a slight variation on that original Digimon. It's kind of, it takes its own spin on it, it's wearing some clothes, which is kind of cool. And they end up fighting the Digimon Frontier knockoffs, basically. And then they go to an understanding that there was just a misunderstanding completely, and they didn't mean to fight. They were just misunderstood, or something along those lines. The group then together go to the digital world, and they find, and here's where the pronunciation is going to go badly, Heshuwumon. And this Digimon tells the children that they are in a different digital world that the D-scanner Digivices won't work in. So it's considered separate from the regular digital world that we had in Digimon Frontier. As I mentioned, the original concept for this manhwa was it was meant to be a sequel to Digimon Frontier, but as I said, some copyright and licensing fell through, and they were unable to use those characters from Digimon Frontier, but they still had the Digimon branding, so they kind of had to change that a little bit. But these children, while they have different names from Takuya, Koji, and Izumi, they ultimately are not the same. They just happen to have D-scanners and evolve into the legendary spirits of fire, light, and wind. So then the Fire Tiger of Tail, which is one of the now evil 28 stars, sends Yu back to the human world, and Yu ends up believing that this whole experience was a dream. Yu then wins a Digivice in the form of a virtual pet in a lottery, but it gets destroyed by some thieves. So then he buys another one, as you do, and he's invited to a tournament along with other tamers to find out who is the strongest. After some battles, and here's another time I'm going to mispronounce something, Longju, the boy who invited Yu, discovers that one of the tournament attendants is a puppetmon controlled by another of the evil 28 stars, And like in the case of Pandamon, this Puppetmon is a different sort of design from the regular Puppetmon that we know and love, that we've seen since very early on in the franchise. Then 4 more members of the evil 28 stars appear, but Yu saves the day with the power of Fuchi, and then realizes that everything is real. Fuchi being the other creator of the humanity and also the digital world in China. They then decide to go back to the digital world and fight Nua and the evil 28 stars. And then that's where it ends, because it was discontinued and wasn't continue on from that. I don't think if it was even like serialized in little manga form. It was only serialized in this magazine in China. So we have various characters in Digimon that don't ever appear in other pieces of Digimon media. So we've got Susanimon, Puppetmon, as I mentioned before, different from the Puppetmon that we know, Nipponyamon, Big Snowmon, Mobilemon, Jinshaomon, Falximon, or might be Falshimon, I'm not sure. The only thing I know about Chinese is I think that the XI sounds like a chi, but I'm not 100%, or maybe like I don't know. As I said, not fluent, not even slightly knowledgeable about Cantonese or Mandarin. Anyway, so there we have Giant Pandamon, Palapandamon, and Taffapandamon. And of course, the evil 28 stars. All of these Digimon are completely unique to this manhwa, and as of recording this, they've never been seen again. Except for obviously we have Puppetmon and Pandamon already existing, but this was kind of like a reimagining of them, because again, they come from the Chinese digital world, which, as this manhwa established, is separate from the digital world from previous seasons, which is kind of a wild concept. It's a different digital world. It's blocked off. I mean, we do have the what's called the Great Firewall of China. I'm not sure if it was meant to tie into that at all, how it was separate from the rest of the internet, but it is a possible concept, and look, it's quite an interesting one, and it's trying to take it into a different way, especially with the fact that this was meant to be a Digimon Frontier sequel with those characters, Koji, Takuya, and Izumi, revisiting their roles, I guess, as they were in Digimon Frontier. It's nice that it's Izumi as well, but unfortunately, because of licensing, the characters aren't actually the ones from Digimon Frontier. However, they do still evolve into their spirit evolution forms, so they're just basically renamed and slightly redesigned. They also look like they could be slightly older anyway than how they appeared in Digimon Frontier. So there is that. So yeah, this manhwa's concept is completely fascinating to me. Instead of a series that is more grounded in technology, this one almost appears to be more grounded in mythology and religion and existing mythology. So it takes the creators of humanity and makes them also the creators of the digital world, which also makes the digital world come across as a more ancient thing, rather than something that only came out of the invention of technology and the internet and digital things. This seems more like something that's been going on for longer than just the digital world, which is just a network that's on top of the human world, which it is usually established as in other seasons. It makes it feel like it's something that's been around for a bit longer, which I also get that impression from Digimon Frontier's world overall, because it's not actually mentioned that it is created from networks or a game like it is in Digimon Tamers. It's more of something that's just kind of there. And I'm guessing that this series aimed to kind of establish a little bit more about what created the digital world and why this one that's in China that's separated from the digital world that they have in Japan. It could be a firewall thing, I don't know. But in any case, it's kind of an interesting concept. And especially because it feels, especially in the Digimon designs, my gosh, it feels more like Shin Megami Tensei and even a little bit of Telefang rather than Digimon itself. And it would have been a great way to see the Frontier world, the Frontier lore, the Frontier world building in general a little bit more. But it is kind of interesting that, again, like, the world feels more like something that is called the digital world but is actually still running alongside the human world and may not have something to do with the internet overall, like the worlds in Shin Megami Tensei or in Telefang, which I'm not super versed in either, but I know enough to know that it's kind of like a world that exists at the same time. It's just so happened called the digital world in Digimon for some reason. But in any case, that's all we know about Digimon Legendary Skies. Please correct my pronunciations, which I guess that's how I got predict. I combined the words correct and pronunciate in the same word, and it got predict. Oh well. But anyway, if I've probably mispronounced literally every time I've opened my mouth, so let me know in the comments. But overall, it's quite a shame that the series didn't get a conclusion, and also ultimately never got released in English, probably because it never got that far in its actual original serializations. We did get the other manhwa, which is the series 1, 2, 3, and 4, released in English, but we never got this one, likely because it didn't actually finish or get any, like, volumes involved. It seems like it was only just getting to the plot, which is kind of a shame. So that was something that I read about years and years ago, but I just remembered it today, and I was like, hey, that'd be a pretty interesting video, because I don't think many people know about this series, and also the designs of the Digimon really don't even look like Digimon, and I kind of like that. It has this somewhat unique feel to that, and I'm a big fan of that. But in any case, that was something that I thought I'd let everyone know about. It's pretty exciting. I wish there was more. I wish that it continued. I'm not sure if we'll ever see these Digimon characters again, but I kind of hope that we do. And Frontier could do with a sequel or a reboot or something, and maybe one day we get to revisit it. But until then, we just have this several chapter long thing that got cancelled very quickly, but the art's pretty cool. So in any case, thanks for watching this video. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Like this video if you thought it was interesting or worthwhile, and subscribe if you haven't already. And of course, I'll see you all in the next video. Bye!